Hello to all of our life learners. Today we are doing our follow through episode on the Business of Life Masterclass podcast from our interview with Chris Karlo. His original episode aired on October 20th, and the topic is Evolving with the Times, AI, and all the progress of technology. Barb Zant here, media sales leader and founder of the lifestyle brand and blog Stay at Work Mom.
Hey everyone, Debbie Lundberg, mindset, resilience, and performance coach with Presenting Powerfully.
Debbie, I was so excited to finally have Chris on. So he has been on our list pretty much the whole 5 years that we've had our podcast. And then we had another guest on, which reminded us, I know you have known him for several years. Such a pleasure, but I was so happy that we were finally able to get him on the show and have all of our listeners and viewers experience the same.
Yes, in case people didn't see it, hopefully you could hear it. Chris Karlo comes at everything that I've ever experienced with him in the 18 plus years that I've known him with a lot of really good energy, sincerity, interest in people. I mean, he conveys all of those things that we often talk about are missing with people being distracted and being focused on themselves. He makes time for people. And you're right, what happened was we consistently keep this list, and we're in season 7, although it's been over the 5 years, like you said, the way the seasons work. And when Ricky was on, we realized that Chris was Ricky's mentor in the mentor protege program through the Tampa Bay Chamber last year. And now Ricky and I are assigned, as I'm the mentor and he's the protege. And the way that Ricky conveyed everything about Chris to me was so positive and pleasant. And then having Ricky on the show to talk about music and resilience and all that he and his mom have been through, it really further reiterated. And then we found out with Chris having some, just continued success and how he's changed in his business. The challenge really was my reaching out and getting a hold of him because of some of those changes. So certainly he didn't hold us up, but we are thrilled to have that good energy, that solid contribution, and to have somebody so engaged with technology and AI talk to us about, staying off your phone and being present. I mean, how many times do we have to hear this? But Chris certainly framed it really well. So what were some of the things that you implemented?
A couple of the things that I implemented is where I am winning in the morning. And so that was a new take on the scale that he used to track his tasks. But it wasn't, and you even asked him further clarification on it. So it's not just like the list that he tracks how he's feeling, and the people that he surrounds himself are the people that he intentionally wants to be with.
Yes.
And so I liked that whole framework that he talked about. So it's not just about marking those wins, but everything with how we're feeling and our mental health and those around us and so much more. I loved it.
So much
and it
more.
will stay in my schedule for sure.
It's been really good because there's whether it's the time of year or the phases that we go through. I mean, there are some really high times and some melancholy times and some low times and some neutral times. And I work with a lot of clients about that it's not just positive or negative. A lot of life is neutral, and neutral does serve us really well. We gain perspective and insights there. Chris's comment though about winning, I can tell you that we were not going to be available, and someone reached out who's going to be in town and said, is there any gathering with the Awesomeness Squad and with our crew? And there wasn't in the time frame, and yet we planned something, and I wasn't dreading it. I wasn't looking at all. It changed our schedule though, so we chose to change our schedule to be with the people. And it was a win. It ended up being a really relaxing and enjoyable experience. I think so often we look at being scheduled and we've made this commitment and we aren't going to change it. And the answer is simply no to people. And yet when you are winning and you make the choices to be around people like I did for yesterday, Michael went along with it and he wasn't part of it, but he knew it would be a win for me, and he made the most of it too. So I like that Chris brought that up, is are you really winning with your choices is how I interpreted it, not just your tasks. Like you said, not just the task, it's the choices, the people, the energy, all of it. I even think about it sometimes with food. Are we winning with how we're fueling our body? Because I like to fuel my body, and sometimes we we don't really fuel it. It makes us sluggish.
I liked everything about that. There was one other thing that I was going to say, just about the tasks and fueling. When we're tightly scheduled, I used to think that, like, maybe watching a movie or sitting at home would give me more energy, and it's actually the time with the awesome squad. That's what fuels us to keep
Hmm.
going. And it took me several years to kind of really listen to my own body and mind and well-being to see what did charge me, and what brought me into that Monday fully charged. And it is time with people that we love, and
Yes.
that's what does it for me. One of the things that I was just such an honor for me is that he said that our podcast reminded him of the book Atomic Habits.
Yes. Yep. And keeping them this way and making sure that we're multiplying and layering and creating these things that are so positive that it was a huge compliment. And we appreciate certainly Chris listening. We appreciate everyone listening. And if our podcast can be a habit for people, which it can be, there is consistently something you can get out of it, because you can say, I don't relate to this night owl. What can I learn to relate to the night owls in my life? Or I don't relate to this early bird, or to this, going out and doing certain things, or taking certain things, or making things a habit. The atomic habit concept is that they really do keep keep compounding and basically
Compounding, yeah,
exploding on
yeah.
top of each other. So we love it for people to have our podcast as a habit, and hopefully an atomic habit that you work in with other things, that you're learning from the people who are kind enough, like Chris, to be on the show and share their morning routine and their extra and their who influenced them the most, and really to take to heart what they tell us to stop doing too, so that we're not being distracted.
And the distraction brings me to the next thing. So be in the moment and put down the phone.
Yes.
And we were talking about earlier. So I've been very, very intentional with the time I spend, because I thought I was being productive because I would multitask. And, you've always said multitasking is not where
Doesn't
we should be at.
exist.
It doesn't exist. And so I've set timers, and I would send 20-minute timers. And now I'm like setting 4-minute timers and just really limit the time. I don't post as much anymore. And it just is a time suck for me and where I'm at right now. And my goal of living intentionally is with less phone. And so I thought that was very ironic with AI and technology. And then he's like, put the technology and the phones down. And I just loved everything that he said, and I put that into action. And then I also went for a walk with my family on Ballast Point. So we used to do that all the time when Christopher was little. It has the pier and ice cream cones and things like that. And it just reminded me, because usually I don't go that far north, but I loved it. I love that little area. I love the park, and it still connects you right to Bayshore.
Yes, it does. And we were out of the area and went for a walk on the beach, ironically, as well, to have that time away. And it was really funny because Chris will be proud of us. So we'd seen some lights that we liked on a house. And so I said to Michael, will you please take a picture of it? He said, I didn't bring my phone. I didn't take my phone either. And so
Awesome.
there we were. But we did drive back when we were on our way out of town and get the photo. But we were saying neither one of us had it, and it's okay. I mean, you're together, you're on foot, you're close by to where you're going to be. So I think Chris will like that we heeded his idea of spending that time and also not being on our phones. So
Not
he got
being
a
on.
double whammy that we did before the follow through. So we're a little later on our follow through so that we get everything in. And what a joy Chris Karlo was to have on.
Well, what a joy, and I can't wait for everyone to listen to both his original episode and his follow through. So, as we close this out, please know, listeners, that you can stay connected with us on Facebook and Instagram at the Business of Life. Me on Instagram at the Stay at Work Mom, and Debbie Lundberg is Debbie Lundberg everywhere. She is Debbie Lundberg Coach on TikTok. So if you liked what you heard, please rate us 5 stars. We are committed to providing you with 5-star guests and inspiration, just like Chris. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining us for this episode of the Business of Life Masterclass, the podcast for successful people embracing every chance to accomplish and experience all you can in business and in life.
Listen, choose, do. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you have ever thought, gosh, I'd like a collaborator, I wonder what else I could do, it's likely that the answer is a coach. Hi, I'm Debbie Lundberg, Performance and Mindset Coach with Presenting Powerfully. And if you would like confidential coaching to drive you to the next idea, the next role, or even to figure out your own brand, please reach out to us at Presenting Powerfully, 813-494-4438. Thank you.